Hey everyone, my name is Cole Austin, and for my Design for Manufacture project, I'll be making a Cornhole game set. Cornhole involves two of the boards pictured here, with the objective being throwing the beanbags through the hole or onto the board in order to score points against your opponent. Current shortcomings on my old set included legs that weren't flush to the ground, beanbags that weren't durable and ripped open, and a finish that was too slick, sending beanbags flying off the board. The redesign process includes legs that are perfectly flush to the ground, durable burlap beanbags, and a gritty chalkboard finish. So the first step in building the Cornhole game set is to measure and cut down your 2x4s. Here, you see me cutting down the 2x4s that will be used for the frame. Once we have our 2x4s, we'll use screws as a joining operation to hold the frame together. After the screws are placed in, the frame should be sturdy, like this. Next, you see me cutting down the plywood that will be used for the top of the board. Once the plywood is cut down, we'll locate the center point of where the hole will be. After that, we'll place our template around it, which is 6 inches wide, and draw a circle around it. Once we have our circle drawn, we'll use a drill to cut out a center point that we can insert the jigsaw into. Once a spot is drilled out, we insert the jigsaw and start from the center and cut towards the outside until we meet the line that was traced around. Once we meet that line, we follow it around until the entire center hole is cut out as one piece. Here, you see me aligning the frame and the top piece board once both are complete. Next, we pre-drill pilot holes every 12 inches along the board frame. After the pilot holes are drilled, the screws are drilled into them. Next, I set the degree on the chop saw to 15 degrees. Then I insert the 2x4s used for the legs and cut them. Here, you see one end of the leg cut to an angle. Then on the other end, I'll use my 3-inch template to trace around a half circle. Once the half circle is traced, we'll use a jigsaw to cut along the line. This will serve for the hinge. Now that we have our leg, we can trace out the center point and drill a hole where the hinge will actually go through. Once that hole is drilled out, we can line up the leg with the frame and put a pin through it to trace out where the hole is going to be for the hinge on the board. Once that hole is traced on the board, we simply use a drill to drill it out. After this, we insert the carriage screw through the board and the leg in order to create a hinge. This joining technique uses a carriage bolt, a washer, and a wing nut. Here you see the board before any finishing operations are performed. Notice the perfectly angled legs, flush with the ground. For the finishing operations, first we put down a layer of primer. Then we paint on the gritty chalkboard paint. For the beanbags, first we cut out squares of burlap and a cloth liner. Then we put needles through them to prep them for the sewing machine. By leaving one spot open on the cloth liner, we can fill it with corn. Then we sew up the inner liner and then the burlap sack around it. After cutting the final string, you're left with a double-lined burlap beanbag. Overall, cutting, joining, and finishing operations were used, along with sewing, to design and manufacture a cornhole board that solved all 3 pain points by making legs that are flush to the ground, using chalkboard paint to provide more grip, and sewing durable burlap beanbags.